What's up guys, Causeway Giant here, and oh boy, just when you thought you recovered from the unbelievable epicness of the Battlefront 2 teaser, along comes the Last Jedi trailer to finish you off. I mean seriously guys, there's only so much Star Wars I can take all at once, it's tearing me apart. And after loads of subtle hints during the Last Jedi panel at Star Wars Celebration Orlando, they finally released the trailer and oh my gosh, it is epic. Also, I recently uploaded a video summarising all of the big points that were discussed during the panel, some even hinting at the Rey Skywalker theory. Don't worry Boba, she'll always be a pet to me. So a link to that video will be down in the description so you can go and check that out, but now it's time to rewatch the first official trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Light. Darkness. A balance.
It's so much bigger. One truth. It's time for the Jedi to end.
Oh, it's even better the 50th time. But anyway, let's start analysing the steaming pile of Star Wars goodness. So I've got to say, I think that the first shot is really well done from a cinematic point of view. It is a very slow fade in, so initially it resembles stars, which is the stereotypical opening to a Star Wars movie. As right after the opening crawl, it pans down to space and we see stars. Or in Rogue One's case, just straight away, because the species of gigantic opening crawl space creatures are going extinct, and for just £2 a month you can help to save these giant, majestic yellow beings from, which is a surefire way to make sure that your audience know that we're dealing with Star Wars here. Though I'm pretty sure that everyone would know this. Well, except all the Trekkie scum. As it fades in, however, we can see that this is actually a rock, and Rey starts hyperventilating. This could be because she was meditating, though this panic state is not normally how Jedi react after meditation, so I think it's more likely that she had a vision similar to the one that she had after touching the Skywalker lightsaber in The Force Awakens, as following that she was also hyperventilating. Or you know, she might have just been sleeping and then suddenly woken up, because you know, Jedi training is tiring stuff. She appears to still be on Ach-to, the planet where Luke was at the end of The Force Awakens, judging by the mossy rocks behind her, and I suspect that most of her training will take place on this planet. Following this, we get a view at the Skellig Islands, Ach-to's islands. I just cannot believe that The Last Jedi was filmed in Ireland. Finally, we're famous for something other than whiskey and leprechauns. And another above view of the island really shows how small these islands are. Like, I imagine Rey's training must have felt so claustrophobic, which kind of alludes to what Daisy Ridley said at the Last Jedi panel about it being so demanding on Rey. The next shot of Rey looking out the sea again represents her isolation, and I really do think we're going to see a different side to Rey as she tries to cope with this intense training. Whilst this is all going on, we can finally hear Luke speaking. Phew, I thought he'd lost the ability to speak over the years, but no, he's finally speaking. But what he does say sounds almost like a therapeutic massage.
Breathe. Just breathe.
this sounds like he's trying to calm Rey down, and the next shot of Rey lifting up a bunch of pebbles with the Force along with Luke's line of "now reach out" reveals that he was trying to get Rey to channel the Force. I think this will be Rey's first time of properly using the Force, as it sounds as though Luke had to really get her to let go to allow her to perform this minor feat of levitating a few pebbles. While she is doing this, she begins to experience another vision, yet this time she is far calmer than what she was at the start of the trailer and in The Force Awakens thanks to Luke's guidance. We then get a shot of General Leia. Oh, my feels, but I'm so glad that Leia is going to be getting a pivotal role in The Last Jedi to preserve that legacy left behind by the incredible Carrie Fisher. She appears to be sporting a similar outfit to the one that she wore in The Force Awakens, which shows that even though she's lost Han, this has not faltered her duties as a military leader of the Resistance. She appears to also be in a Resistance base due to all the people running around her, though it looks like the Resistance have moved to another planet just like the Rebel Alliance, as this place looks very different to the Resistance base that we saw in The Force Awakens. Also, if you listen very carefully, you can hear Leia saying, "Help me, Obi-Wan." This is obviously paying homage to the scene in A New Hope, though it could also hint at a potential return of Obi-Wan in the Force Ghost form, and maybe even Leia finally using the Force by reaching out to try and contact Obi-Wan's Force Ghost. After this, we see what looks to be Kylo-Ren's mask smashed on the floor. Judging by the noise it makes after Kylo drops it in The Force Awakens, this thing must have weighed an absolute ton, so it would have taken an immense force to be able to smash it like that. So I wonder if it was maybe Snoke that destroyed it due to his anger and as a punishment to Kylo and showing how powerful he really is, or it's also possible that Kylo destroyed it in a fit of rage. The next shot is very interesting, a bookshelf surrounded by wood. It looks to be underground due to the low light level and the way that the light is shining through, so this could be in some kind of underground structure, maybe even the Jedi temple that we were told Luke was searching for. These books look very old and tattered, so it's possible that they are journals that Luke wrote about the Jedi Order and notes that he might have used when trying to teach his new Jedi Academy before Kylo and the Knights of Ren killed them all. We get a closer view of who I'm assuming is Luke running his fingers over them, and you can really see how old and ruined these books are, which kind of symbolizes the Jedi in a way. Speaking of the Jedi, the image that is on the front of this book is the symbol of the Jedi. So it looks like Luke is going to be going into this vault or wherever it is to retrieve this book about the Jedi Order so that he can start teaching its ways to Rey. So it looks like although Luke is a little skeptical about the Jedi Order, he is still somewhat trying to preserve it by indoctrinating its teachings onto Rey. However, the way that Rey says that she sees both the light and the dark during her vision hints that Rey is going to become a Grey Jedi. Get it? Grey Jedi? Yeah? Okay, I'll stop. The next shot shows Luke watching Rey training with her lightsaber on the cliffs of the island. So judging by what we've seen so far, it looks like this film is going to be really focused on Rey's training, which I would be very happy about, as we've never really seen how Jedi are trained to become so masterful in the Force. I mean, yeah, we saw a bit of Luke's training with Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back, but it really glossed over the details, whereas The Last Jedi looks to be exploring the physical aspects of the Jedi training, yet also mental aspects, and delving into the actual teachings of the Jedi. Also, if you look really closely, one of the rocks near where she is training, a lot like Yoda it looks like. I apologise for the terrible Yoda impression, but yeah, this could be him watching Rey and helping Luke to train her. Though if it is him, you would wonder why he is silhouetted like Rey and Luke, as he is obviously a Force Ghost, and Force Ghosts are both translucent and give off a faint blue glow. So this could potentially be like a further level of Force Ghost that Luke has discovered over the years in some of the books that we see stashed away earlier in the trailer. We can also faintly hear Yoda saying the famous line from Empire Strikes Back, which further hints at Yoda being in the film. We then finally get another shot that is outside of Ach-to and away from all the Jedi training on another planet. I think that this planet is probably new, as I can't remember any planets that have red sand, but if any of you know what this planet is, let me know in the comments section down below, as I would be really interested to find out more about this planet. In the background we can also see the telltale shape of AT-ATs. Yes, AT-ATs, not AT-ATs and AT-STs, showing that they are going to be making their return to the film saga in The Last Jedi. And further proving that the First Order are literally just an emo version of the Empire. During this shot we can also see some very interesting looking ships gliding along the sand, one of which crashes down into the middle. These look like very rustic makeshift vehicles and are most likely Resistance craft, as they have like no money at all. Heck, Leia had to even modify an old B-Wing from the Galactic Civil War into a troop transport in The Force Awakens. It looks like they're dragging something behind them in order to make a kind of smoke stream to alert Resistance aircraft, allowing them to bombard the First Order artillery with an aerial assault. I think it's very likely that the base we saw Leia on earlier in the trailer will be on this planet, which could cause these ships to be scouting around the base and finding these AT-ATs, in turn leading to a similar ground assault that we saw the Empire do to Echo Base on Hoth. We can see that in the next shot Finn is in some kind of medical capsule and is still in a coma, though thankfully John Boyega pointed out during the Last Jedi panel that Finn will be healed and back to normal at some point during the film. This medical capsule looks very similar in its design to the room where Leia was in earlier, so it looks like he'll be safe in this Resistance base. For now, as we then see Poe and BB-8 charging towards the camera. It looks as though whatever facility they were on appears to be being attacked, as we can see some people running about in the background, sparks flying off the wall, and a good old shaky cam. Hey, it isn't an action sequence without a bit of shaky cam. The next shot shows that they are running towards Poe's X-Wing, though it gets engulfed in fire before he can reach it. Man, that's the second X-Wing that has blown up on him. He really doesn't have a whole lot of luck with them, does he? We then get some aerial combat footage as the Millennium Falcon shoots down a TIE fighter. It's possible that this is on the same planet as those Resistance ships from earlier and the Resistance base, so it's impossible to know for sure. It then cuts back to Rey, but I don't think that she's training this time. The way that she is surging forwards with lightsaber ignited and such determination on her face, it looks like she is charging towards Kylo, who we see in the next shot. It should also be noted that she is wearing a different outfit in this shot, so this will probably happen during a later stage of the film. Kylo himself seems to be relatively unscathed despite the massive facial injury he received at the end of The Force Awakens, and his crossguard lightsaber seems to be even more unstable than before, symbolizing that he too has become more consumed by rage and hatred than what he was in the last film. We then see who is most likely Luke, collapsing next to R2-D2 after seeing a building scorching with fire. This shows that him and the droid have finally had another reunion, though it looks as though this will be short-lived as Captain Phasma emerges from the fire with a squadron of First Order stormtroopers. This finally confirms that Captain Phasma will be returning in The Last Jedi, which I am so glad about, as I thought she had an epic design but was completely wasted in The Force Awakens, and I was really hoping that she wasn't just going to be another cool looking character who goes down like a punk. But it looks as though she's finally going to see some action as she uses scorched earth tactics on what I'm assuming is Luke's Jedi Temple, judging by his reaction. We then get a first glimpse at a full-scale space battle in the New Era as a series of ships which closely resemble a modified version of the Nebulon-B frigate from the Galactic Civil War, and some X-Wings defending against a whole lot of First Order TIE fighters. I wonder if this battle is taking place over the planet that the Resistance base is on. If so, it looks as though this defense will fail, as we saw the First Order had landed a massive invasion force army on the planet's surface earlier in the trailer. Then comes the big talking point of the trailer, Luke saying,
It's time for the Jedi to end.
Wow, what could this mean? Is it because Rey has failed her training and been seduced to the dark side by Supreme Leader Snoke, or worse still, been killed by Kylo, or worse still, forced to watch episode 2 over and over again for the rest of her life?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Not like here.
Does this mean that Luke is now the last Jedi and that he's just given up on all hope? Or does it mean that he's trained Rey to become a grey Jedi like I mentioned earlier in the video? Guys, this line could mean literally anything, so let me know what you think it's referring to down in the comments. Well anyway guys, that's my full analysis of the first trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi. Let me know what you guys thought of it and if there's anything that I missed or anything else that you were able to spot. Guys, this film looks so good and it really looks like they learned from their mistakes in The Force Awakens, because that trailer was absolutely epic. But man, please, 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 please let Luke live. We've already lost Han in this trilogy. I don't think I can actually take losing Luke as well. But as always guys, remember, I hope you liked, and remember to ring that notification bell to stay up to date with all my coverage of Star Wars Celebration Orlando. And remember to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Causeway Giant out.